This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's a half hour of local chat. We do this for you every Saturday morning at 8:30. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. And over the last, 20 months or so, actually more than that, we're closing in on 2 years of this show now. We have talked to many people in the community, but Katy Huckle, we have never chatted with Pastor Will Markham before.
Well, you know what? We said we were going to be about positive things. And guess what? He's about positive things.
Sure is. And
Will Markham is about positive things, honey.
And we're honored to have him with us today. And Pastor Will, we wanted to have you in here. I know you've got a really big fundraiser coming up, but there are so many things that Revival Center of Cadillac is involved in as far as community ministry goes. So, why don't let's get the Pastor Will Markham story. You told me off air you've been here for 30 years.
I've been here for 30 years. Yeah, 30? I came in February of 1991.
No one would believe it.
I had black hair then.
Still has energy.
I had black hair then, but now it's all gray.
So
Rich,
what brought you to Cadillac?
Well, Rich doesn't have much hair, but
oh, no.
No, I'm sorry, Rich. I shouldn't have said that.
You know what? It's perfectly fine. At least mine fell out before it got a chance to turn gray.
That's true.
So 30 years. What brought you to Cadillac, Will?
I really felt like when I came to Cadillac, I came here for the purpose of working with other congregations and other churches in our community. And that had been on my heart for a long, long time. And when I got here, I found that there was an openness. There was a little small pastor's prayer group that had just started with a guy named Cy Foster. He was the associate retired pastor at Temple Hill Baptist. And he had gathered together some guys that were just going to come together and pray for our community. And so we started doing that. And through the years, a lot of other ministers joined the group. At one time, we had 20-some pastors that were praying together every single Wednesday morning at Big Boy. And so it was quite a time.
Way.
Oh, yeah, it really was happening.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but at the Big Boy restaurant, are you serious?
That was what was happening, yes.
I love it.
It was a super thing. And, what happened is we decided that there was one church in Cadillac and many congregations. And so we were all part of the bigger church of Cadillac, and that we were here to pastor together. Together we would do everything that we could to make a difference in this community for good. And during that 30 years, the parachurch ministries that have started as a direct result of the pastors working together are many, many more than other towns this size or even 5 times this size.
So you find that churches are very collaborative in the Cadillac area.
The churches are very collaborative. And I remember one pastor at one time, he told me, he said, I believe in competition between the churches. And I told him, I said, I believe in cooperation. And he later, he said to me, he said, you were right. He said, cooperation is better than competition. And it is.
Okay, so you're being very nice. You didn't say I was right.
No, the truth of the matter is that what I found is that every group, every congregation, every denomination has blind spots, and I couldn't see mine until other people pointed them out.
Oh, my gosh. Rich, what do we say about that? I don't have any blind spots.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you're perfect.
It is interesting. I know I've heard about the Cadillac Area Ministerial Association. Are you part of that?
I am.
So tell us about that group and how they get together to serve.
I've had an opportunity to serve with the group for a number of years, all the years I've been here, and I've served as the president in the past. Right now I'm the vice president of CAMA, and I enjoy working with them. What they do together is they come together and they meet on a monthly basis, and we talk about some of the things that are going on. Each month we have somebody in our community that comes to talk to us. It may be our school superintendent, Jennifer Brown, or somebody from the hospital, or
well, we love her, don't we, Rich?
We do.
She's a great lady. And we have different ones come and talk to us, and we look at how we can come alongside them and make their job easier and make their job more effective. And so the churches have worked together in that particular way for a long, long time. And then,
No way. Rich, did you know that? I did not know that. I mean, come on. He's got like the superintendent of schools coming into this. Yep. Good job.
And that's a place where churches can serve. Although I'm sure you have to be careful in how you do that. But
well, honey, there's the separation of church and state, Rich.
Right.
This is it.
So how do you tiptoe around that, Will?
Well, let me tell you a little story about what happened a number of years ago. A number of years ago, we had, I think there were 4 or 5 deaths during the school year in our school system. Kids were killing themselves. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, at the in a house at the foot of the Revival Center property was a 12-year-old who was playing a internet game, and he ended up dying from it. And it broke our heart. It broke our heart. Here he is, he's right at the doorstep of the church, and we didn't have an impact on his life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that summer, I made a phone call to all the pastors I knew, and I said, "We've got to pray for our kids, but how do you do that and do it even on site? Because you can't really go on site during school hours." And what I did is I asked them if they would, each pastor would take a school, and they would go and take their congregation there on the first day that school started, but after school hours. Well, after school hours, anybody can come on school grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went and we prayed, and I can tell you this much, our superintendent at that time was very much in favor of what we did, and he showed up at a number of those prayer meetings that night. And we've been praying every year. We go at the beginning of the school year, different congregations go to different church or schools, and they pray for the safety of the kids. They pray for the teachers. We send somebody to Baker College as well. Marty Paul preschool, from youngest to oldest in any kind of school, even the parochial schools, we send people to pray. We even have groups that pray over the homeschoolers, and all that happens at the beginning of the school year. And since that time, it's sad to say we had one, but we've only had one suicide since that time in our school district.
See?
You work.
It works.
You work with youth, Pastor Will, and so we can't have a minister in here. We can't have a pastor in the building without talking about the effect that COVID-19 has had on the younger folks that you know.
Depression.
Physically, mentally, any of that. Can you speak to that? I mean, how are you seeing things from your perspective?
Here's what I've noticed when I talk about anxiety, the word anxiety or the word confusion, those two things, you find that it crosses the spectrum of age from the youngest to the oldest. You hear people talking about, I don't know what day it is. I'm not sure what's going on next. Having trouble keeping up with their own schedules. You hear people talking about that, feeling isolated, alone. Confusion and anxiety are rampant because we were never meant to be separated to the degree that we have been separated. We are meant to be together.
Whoa. That's an important statement, isn't it, Rich?
Well, it is.
We were not. We were all supposed to be together.
And for a long time, we were apart, and we're able to be together more now, which is great. But, I think a lot of us would like to go back to life pre-March 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we know a way back there, and I'm not sure that we'll ever find back there. I think we have to look at, that happened, and the effects of it continue to impact our lives. The next question is what next? What can we learn from it? I've noticed that people are unfortunately, to some degree, more willing to speak out against other people, and maybe than ever before.
Right.
I think we've become more tribal, and people have their own tribes. They don't listen to each other like they used to. And one of the things I believe that we can do is be intentional about interacting with people who don't think the same way we do, or listen to the same news broadcasts we do, or interact with the same kind of people that we have been interacting with. We need each other, and there is something to be learned from people who don't think like you do.
Agreeing to disagree is a lost art, don't you think?
I think it takes a lot of work.
Rich, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
This is true. So we should take in twice as much as we speak, I guess, right? So, one of the reasons, Pastor Will, that we wanted to have you in here is because you've got a really, really special event coming up. This is a thing that you've done for years. And has it always been the Sunday before Thanksgiving?
It's typically always been the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
So it's coming up in 8 days, and so we want to talk about it here. Tell us about this big community event, this charity event that helps out your one of your big ministries at Revival Center of Cadillac.
Well, the community food pantry that operates out of Revival Center, we do one fundraiser a year. Now we get help a lot. We don't always even know where the money comes from, but money comes from other places. But we do one.
Well, the money comes from God, honey.
Well, absolutely, it really does. We've been doing it. It was the first ministry that we started when we came to Revival Center, because at that time there was 14% unemployment in the Cadillac area, and we knew there needed to be something to help meet that need. And so it's been running for 30 years. It's open every single week to any person who is in need. And the only week we don't have it open is on the week of Christmas, and then we have actually a Christmas dinner that people can come to during that time. But this fundraiser that we do, what we do is we serve a great big Thanksgiving meal, and then we encourage our people to bring baked goods. And they bring, they put all their resources and efforts into baked goods. They bring them, and then they buy them for more money than it costs them to make. And in doing so, it's amazing how much we've had a pie go for as high as $500, and then it got sold again and again. So we just use it. It's just an effort to
it's God's work.
It's God's work.
That sounds like some of your Katy cakes, actually, doesn't it, Katy?
Well, don't you
do you have something to donate, Katy?
Well,
we'll sell it.
Don't you think I won't show up at that party with
all right.
a little bit of a pie and a cake?
All right.
100. Rich knows it, because he's eaten my Katy cakes. You know what?
I haven't.
One of them sold for $850.
Oh, wow.
True.
Yeah. I think
some of my pies and cakes are going to show up at your, I so walk in faith, and I can't wait to bring cakes and pies to your place.
I'll look forward to it.
Giving me a little bit of a, I try not to get emotional during the show, but I cannot wait to bring my cakes and my pies to your place.
All right.
That's fantastic. And it really, this event showcases the generosity of the community and the folks who come to Revival Center, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. To tell you the truth, Revival Center can't do the community food pantry by themselves. We never could. And when I say that, I'm saying that God sends people to help us. He sends workers. He sends resources. And it just always is there. And we've always been able to open our doors and give money or give food to people every week, just because of the fact that God has been faithful. And he's been faithful through many of the people in the Cadillac community who don't call Revival Center their home church.
And we were talking about this off the air, and even earlier in the show. The churches are not in competition. You're just there to serve a need. Right?
We are there to work together and serve the need. And because of that, there's been so many, I don't know if you haven't been here a while, you don't know the ministries that have started here. Love Inc. was one of those that came from the pastors working together. Kids Hope was another. Workplace Chaplains was another. A New Hope Center was another that came.
These are big boys.
Which is just I know we've had Chris Crawley on the air before, and we've talked about New Hope, and I know he's getting ready to open his doors there, and isn't that another great ministry,
a collaborative effort in our community of the faith community joining together to make a difference.
Right. So this event specifically, when is it? Where is it? How can folks get involved?
Okay, it is Sunday, November 21st, and it is at 12:30 p.m., so it's after our morning service, and that's when the food is served, and that's when people can bring desserts if they want to. They can get a paddle and bid on the desserts that are available that day. There are also crafts. We've had some really...
Well, I promise you, there's going to be, honey,
you just said...
There's going to be some desserts.
All right.
You just said a paddle. So this is set up exactly like an auction.
It is, after people eat, we auction off the stuff, and Al Dumont is going to be our auctioneer this year, and some of you would know Al Dumont, and he's going to be our auctioneer, and we set it up, and we auction off those desserts, and people can save them for Thanksgiving, or they can eat them on the spot.
So they can go in the freezer if you want.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So give us an idea of some of the things that have the more popular items that you've auctioned off over the years.
Wow. I can tell you what I like. What I always bid on is anything that has chocolate in it. I love chocolate.
Whoa. Guess what?
Well, listen.
I make a chocolate cake. It's like a death by chocolate.
That's great way to go.
Okay.
That's really interesting. It's an interesting thing for you to say, Will. Something that has a like Katy. I don't want to give away any of your secrets, but I know, Katy, that your frosting.
It might be dripping. Might be dripping with dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate.
Oh my!
It might be like that.
You got a lot of butter in that frosting. I know that.
I'm struggling to stay focused on anything but the chocolate you're talking about this moment.
So how much?
What we do, but I need to talk to you about one thing about your work and our small town. Rich kids, I'm not going to get upset, but what you're doing is really, really important, and thank you.
So
thank you.
Tell us about how much. I mean, you said there's a budget to put this together every week, but how much is generally raised from this event every year?
Well, last year, in the middle of the COVID thing, we actually raised more money than any other year. And we did. We raised $8,000 that day.
What do you attribute that to?
Wow. I think people were generous because they saw that there was maybe, I don't know, maybe they needed to be able to have an outlet for their love for people. I don't know. Because people had been separated to a great degree, around the community. And, we had folks come from here and there and everywhere and send us money through the mail that weren't even part of it, who didn't get to taste the chocolate, and it was an incredible day.
So this has been going on. You said since the beginning, since you came here, 30 years, or when did it start?
The food pantry started in March of 1991, so it was a month after we came here, and and so it was started with $100 donation. And it was called Gleaners then. Feeding America Now had just opened their doors a few months before here in Cadillac. So it was like I showed up at the right time. We were the 12th organization to sign up with them, and I'm sure at this point in time we are definitely the oldest organization that is connected with them. They've been very good to us through the years, and they said that in the 10 counties they serve, this is the largest food pantry. We serve about 100 families every week. And that's up from about 75 or 80. and we serve about 100 families.
So
this is important work.
It is.
Rick.
It is extremely important work. And another thing that I wanted to say: how many years has this event specifically been going on? I've been in Cadillac since 2007, so I'm coming up on 15 years. And I remember talking about this on the air every year. It seems.
Yeah, I think this has been happening probably about 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably about 20 years.
So God said, feed people and clothe them. And guess what you're doing?
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I'm telling you, Will, you are knocking it out.
Katy, I've never met. I know quite a few of the folks who are pastors in town, and they have a heart to serve. And their flocks, their people have a heart to serve.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. So we're going to circle back around. Oh, go ahead.
Heart. You have a servant's heart, my friend. So
yes, you do. You do, Rich.
So the next thing that I want to do is just kind of circle back around, and we just have a few minutes left here to talk about this particular event, and maybe some of the other outreach that Revival Center of Cadillac does. Why don't we go there, and then we'll wrap it up by giving the event date and time one more time.
One of the things that we just started at Revival Center, so it's really a fun thing, and it's on Saturday nights. We are doing a ministry for middle schoolers and high schoolers and young adults. And so they have a general teaching, then they divide up into their groups. And we've felt like maybe we were missing along the way, especially those transition points where middle school is really important because kids are going from like a children's ministry to a youth ministry. And then young adult, it seems like there's just not enough ministry for young adults, and a lot of young adults kind of pull away. But we've had some young adults that said, hey, listen, we're committed to Christ and we're committed to our community. And so we've just started this together, and they're working together, and it's really been effective. We started on October 31st, so it's brand new, and we'll know more about it a little bit later. But it's an outreach to, young people really that are the gamut. If they're in school in some way, they're probably going to be connected in that respect.
And we talked about it before. That's a very, very important age to, I've told you, I'm in the classroom with high school juniors and seniors every day. And it's a tough time. It's a tough time anytime, let alone when COVID is running wild and kids are confused and worried and anxious and all that. Yeah. All right, let's go back, Will, to this event that's coming up the Sunday before Thanksgiving. We want people to be involved in this. Let's talk about it one more time.
Well, at 12:30 that Sunday after our morning service, they can come to the morning service if they want to.
My gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on preaching a sermon.
Yeah.
And
you're in charge.
Well, I'm preaching that Sunday morning. I'm looking forward to it.
I will be there in my best outfit. I was in a little bit of a motorcycle accident, but I promise you I will be there. So let's see what you got.
All right, we'll look forward to it.
Fire and brimstone, baby.
Well, I don't know. We'll see what we got. but one thing's for certain, we're gonna, we're at 12:30. We're gonna feed everybody. And then immediately after we feed them, we'll start that auction. If they want to come and bring a dessert, we will put it up for auction, and people will bid on it, and it will be great fun. And whoever comes and brings one, they can also buy a dessert if they want to. Anybody can bid. They just have to have the paddle so that they can have their name attached to that. And every gift, every bit of it goes into the community food pantry. We don't take anything out of it. It all goes to feed people in our community, and it's a great opportunity. The other thing I can tell you that we have need of, we really always have need of able-bodied volunteers who can come and help set up and give out food. And once a month, we are doing the Feeding America truck that has fresh fruits and vegetables, and that's on the fourth Thursday of every month. And in December, we actually have the second and fourth Thursday. And what's going to happen is we always need people to help because they're carrying stuff out to people's cars and putting it in their trunk and all that kind of stuff.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's really a cool thing. And we, and what's really something about our community, our community has already paid for those trucks through March.
Oh, wow.
So, people are helping that way. We just need more able-bodied people to come.
We're going to get it. We're going to back him up.
We most certainly are. What days in the month are those again, Pastor Will?
That is normally the fourth Thursday of every month.
Okay. So the best way you can help out Revival Center is to volunteer for that. Pull out Grandma's recipe book and make her best dessert and send it to the Revival Center.
No.
Right?
I'm going to back him up. He can get whatever he wants with his dessert.
All right. Well, I will.
Every cake, every cookie, every pie, I promise. This will. Gosh.
Well, here's what I can tell you
the Lord, He has blessed you because He's ready for you, honey.
Yeah. Yep.
You got it.
Well, I can tell you this for sure. When it comes to desserts, it's always best to taste some and share the rest.
Absolutely. All right, so the big day is coming up 8 days from today, and it is Sunday, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and the date of that, Will, is what date again?
November 21st.
It's the 21st. It's Revival Center of Cadillac, and Pastor Will Markham, you are welcome to join us again sometime.
I would love to.
My God.
All right.
Don't bet against him, Rich.
Nope, I will not. All right, that is Cadillac Unscripted. It is sponsored by Independent Bank. Join us next week, same time, same station for more local chat here on 107.9 CDY.